let's go to the Big Ten. Okay. I think it's interesting. Like Illinois, we're going to hear from Tommy DeVito here in a minute. He talked to our George Woodfield earlier. We saw what Michigan did. We know what Ohio State has done. Like Coach Sumlin, where do you net out with this league right now, and finish up with a thought on Illinois, if you don't mind?
No, I said, and with Mike a week or two ago, I said, by the eye test, just the eye test, I ranked Ohio State number 1 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I ranked Tennessee number 2. Remember that, Mike? Right?
Yes.
Before,
Called
before
it.
this
Called
weekend.
it.
He did.
Before
Hey, he
this
did.
weekend. By the eye test, okay? Just guys are playing and how the teams are playing and the quarterbacks are playing.
Yep.
Ohio State is still a complete football team, and I don't know where they keep growing these receivers from, because they just keep coming in there, long, athletic, can fly, get it around them, and they're going to catch it, right? And if they make one guy miss, they're wire to wire guys. They're a complete football team. It'll be interesting to see how Michigan continues to get better. I didn't believe in the first week. I'm Michigan, right? And so, crazy Jim Harbaugh. But he seems to be a little bit more sane on the sideline right now. he's not running up and down like yelling and screaming, and they're playing at a high level. Beyond that, who is it? Illinois, right? I know I got on the high horse last week, Mike, with Brett Bielema, but
Yeah.
you watch them play. If they get on the field, talent-wise, they're nowhere near those other two teams, right?
Right.
The team that's gotten better every week is Purdue. I mean, what they did to Minnesota was a shocker to most people, right?
Mm-hmm.
24-0 in the third quarter. Then, they should have beaten Penn State the first week, the very first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gave them a real chance against Maryland. They win there, right? All they do is just keep winning and getting better. So, to me, in that league, I mean, they just keep getting better. And in the West, I mean, who are you going to get? I mean, who's it going to be, right? Iowa can't score more than 8 points in a game, right?
Yeah.
That's if they get a safety and 2 field goals. So it's a rough deal, right? So I to me, in the whole league, Ohio State's clearly one of the most talented teams in the country, and then they're going to make a run for it all, I think, and when it's all said and done.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be quick because I know we got to get to DeVito. Illinois is only giving up 9 points a game. 9 a game. 8.9 if we're going to be fair. This team shows up every week. Chase Brown is a monster. DeVito has figured it out. And it's really, and you guys correct me wrong, it feels weird to watch him in orange and blue, but not Syracuse.
Yeah.
So it's this team is figuring things out, and they know who they are. And I've said this a million times, but identity matters in college football, and they know who they are. And that's the part of like this. We talked a lot about Utah kicking themselves for losing to Florida. Illinois losing to Indiana. Ooh, this is a team that could be undefeated right now.
Well, here's the other thing we talked about early, right? DeVito, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I first saw him play in 2018, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, he's like DTR. This guy's been playing football forever, right?
Yeah.
A new place, and I mean, he's like, who's this guy? The Bosco kid. That's where he is. He's playing there. It was 2018.
My guys did his commitment video.
Right. So over time, he has gotten better. He's found a home. I told you last week. I mean, just like Utah, Brett Bielema is another guy. They're not going to screw it up. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. They're not going to have a bunch of penalties. They're not going to turn the ball over. They're going to wait for you. If you make a mistake, you'll look up and they'll be like, "Damn, it's 10-3, and we can't We got poor field position because they're punter. The ball's getting knocked down inside the 10-yard line. We get 3 first downs. We aren't even at midfield, right? So it's a long grind out deal. And Illinois is well coached and in a position to be solid in a league and on a side of the league where I think from a talent standpoint, they've got every chance to win that side as anybody. So the Big Ten, besides Ohio State,
right? Who is anyone?
And we still don't know about Michigan, right? We think we know, but is it really, right? They've played some close football games, but, as I've said, there could be the crazy Jim Harbaugh pop out any week now, and then you never know what's going to happen there.
It's a good point, and just to throw it out there, like I love the eye test side of things because we're going to hear that a ton in the coming weeks as the playoff gets unveiled. To be fair, Ohio State, like it's just the eye test because they haven't played anybody that you're like, I believe in them. So again, I think in college football, like we live in this world sometimes where teams just get a pass. Right? Like Bama gets a pass, Georgia gets a pass, like you're just throwing out the passes. Like
Clemson
gets a pass, OU's gotten a pass. Like people get passes. I don't know. Ohio State's the closest thing to getting a pass, but I don't give it to them yet. I don't know if you guys are. Like I don't think this is a year where it's like LSU with Burrow or Bama in pandemic year. Like they were so much better than I thought everybody. Georgia defensively,